Alright, so let's go through question 7b. So 7b, we're given a log equation, right? So we have log base 5, then what, bracket 3x squared plus 17 bracket minus log square root base 5, base square root 5, bracket x plus 1 bracket equal to 1. Okay, so first thing first, whenever we want to solve a logarithm equation, we have to ensure one thing, right? We have to ensure that the base is the same. So you notice that my base is not the same. So before I start solving my equation, right, I need to change the base first. Okay, so let me just teach you how to change the base. Okay, so of course, normally when we change the base, we want to change the base into something that do not have any square root. So for me, right, I want to change the base to positive 5. No square root, right? Okay, so looking at the second sentence here, so the second thing right here, right? So log square root 5 bracket x plus 1. Okay, so how do I change the base? Very simple. First thing first, you put a fraction first, then you put a log 5 on top, put a log 5 below. Alright, then after that, on top, you put x plus 1. So where does the x plus 1, how does the x plus 1 come from? It comes from here. Okay, then after that, the denominator, you put square root 5. So where did the square root 5 come from? So it's from here. Okay, so 1 is on top, 1 is at the bottom, right here. Okay, alright, so that is how we change the base. Of course, if you look at the base, right, so I change accordingly. So log base 5 x plus 1 bracket, then after that, okay, log 5. So square root 5, you need to recap on your indices already. So how do I change square root 5 to indices form? You should put 5 to the power of half. After that, you will notice, my half is the power that, right? So I can, there's one law regarding the power, right? Is that I can bring it down. So I can bring the whole thing down right here. Okay, so now instead of writing as power, I put as this log base 5 x plus 1 bracket, then after that half, then log 5. So every time you see that the number is the same right here, right? The base and the, I believe this is what I call index lah. No? So the index and the base is the same. So this whole thing will become just 1. Okay, so this whole thing is just 1 here. Then after that, you just continue. Okay, so log something divided by half, you'll get 2 log 5 x plus 1, then put a bracket. Okay, so in this case, I have changed my base successfully already. Okay, so now everything is good. Then after that, we write down the equation accordingly. Okay, so log base 5, 3x squared. So write down the log base 5, 3x squared plus 1, and put a bracket. 17, not 1, 17. Then after that, minus, right? So I put a minus sign, then put a 2 log base 5, then after that put a x plus 1 bracket equal to positive 1. Okay, so I want to solve this equation. Okay, but of course, before you solve this log equation, you must make sure one thing is that the coefficient of the log should be all 1. So what do I mean by that? Okay, so notice for the red color log, right? The coefficient is 1 here, but the purple color log, the second term here, there's a 2 here. So you need to get rid of these 2. Okay, so how do I get rid of these 2? Same thing, you need to memorize your rule. Okay, so the 2 here can be put on top here. So now I've get rid of the 2 already. So now become log base 5 3x squared plus 17, then put a bracket, minus log base 5, then put a x plus 1, then put a bracket. Now of course the 2, you put it as a power here, equal to positive 1. Right? Okay, of course now, now we need to apply the most important rule in the logarithm. So you'll notice that now there's a minus sign in between. Okay, so if there's a minus sign in between, every time you think of minus, you think of divide. Every time you see plus, you think of multiply. Something like your indices like that. Okay, so for log, okay, so I can combine these two things together, become log base 5, So this will be 3x squared plus 17. Alright, then after that, the bottom will be the x plus 1 bracket square equal to positive 1. Of course, to make it nicer, I put another bracket. Okay, now it's time to solve already. Okay, I want to get rid of the log now. So how do I get rid of the log? Very simple. The 5 you see here, you move it to the right hand side. So when you move it to the right hand side, it's no longer the base already. So now it becomes 3x squared plus 17 over x plus 1 bracket square equal to 5. Now if you look at the 1 here, now this 1 become the power. So this is another law of the logarithm. Okay, so now the right hand side is 5, right? Just put 5. Okay, so now it's back to Emaths already. So I want to solve for x. Okay, so how do I solve for x? Very simple. First thing first, you do every time you see fraction on the left hand side and non-fraction on the right hand side, right, you do your cross multiplication, or what I call the crisscross. So it's 5 over 1. Then you do your crease and you do your cross. Okay, so of course I do this first. Right, so I do the 5 bracket x plus 1, then put a bracket. I just write another 1 equal to, I do another cross is here. So it's 3x squared plus 17 times 1, the whole thing. So 3x squared plus 17. Okay, of course now I do my so-called my expansion. Every time you want to do your expansion, so you do your expansion, I do a quick one. X squared plus 2x plus 2, then put a bracket, equal to 3x squared plus 17. Okay, next I'll continue to expand. So 5x squared plus 10x plus 10 equal to 3x squared plus 17. Okay, then after that you just move everything to the left hand side. So when you move everything to the left hand side, right, so 5x squared, the 3x squared, you move it to the left hand side, become minus 3x squared. So 5x squared minus 3x squared, you will get 2x squared. Okay, next, positive 10x. This one you just put it as alone. Okay, next will be the last one, right? So positive 10, then the 17, you move it to the left hand side, become minus 17. So it's negative 7 equal to 0. Right? Okay, so now let's see. Okay, I think I did a calculation mistake. Sorry. Okay, so the expansion I did some mistake. So 2x, then here should be 1. Alright? Then yeah, so everything should be good. So 5x squared plus 10x plus should be 5. Okay? Plus 5. Okay, so everything is done. Okay, so 5 minus 17, you should get minus 12 equal to 0. So of course, before I do my quadratic factorization, I simplify first. So I just divide by 2 on the left and right hand side. So when you divide by 2 on the left and right hand side, right, you should get something like x squared plus 5x minus 6 equal to 0. Then you do your so-called your quadratic factorization. Okay, so for quadratic factorization, I noticed that for Erica, right, you do the multiplication frame. Okay, maybe I teach you something that is easier. This one is very fast one. It's quite fast to do your factorization. Okay, so I draw a table first. Okay, then I look at the first term and I look at the last term right here. So of course the sign I must take it with me. Alright, okay, so okay, what should I write here? I should write something like okay, so x squared, right? How do I decompose my x squared? I can use x times x. Alright, so there's only one way to do it. So it's x multiplied by x. Okay, now I move on to the minus 6. Okay, so minus 6, there are many ways of doing, right? So you can use 6 times negative 1. You can use negative 6 times 1. You can also use maybe 3 times negative 2, so on and so forth. Okay, so why not I try to use my positive 6 times negative 1. So in between there's a multiplication sign. I just don't put it. Okay, so yeah, so this is negative 6. Okay, so how do I know whether I factorize correctly? Very simple. You do your crease and you do your cross. Okay, so you look at the purple arrow. So arrow means is so-called the multiplication sign. So x multiplied by 6 is 6x. So of course there's a invisible plus sign here. Then after that, x multiplied by the green arrow right here, right? So x times negative 1 is negative 1x. So it's negative 1x. Okay, after that you look at the third column right here. This thing, right? Okay. So you just ensure that 6x, whatever answer you get here should be the second term. So second term is right here. Okay, so you should get something like 5x. If you don't get 5x, means this factorization is wrong already. Alright. Okay, so now I do my factorization. So 6x plus negative 1x is positive 5x. Okay, so in this way I've completed my quadratic factorization. Okay, so this one is what I call the trial and error method lah. I believe it's easier than the multiplication frame lah. Okay, after you determine that this is 5x, right? Then you put a bracket. Okay, so of course the first level is together with the first level, the second level is together with the second level. So is the answer, the so-called the quadratic factorization is x minus 1 bracket, then you put another bracket, x plus 6, and put a bracket equal to 0. So of course the answer is either x equal to positive 1 or negative 6. Okay, so before you call it a day, right, you need to double check, because this is log, so we cannot just accept anything. Okay, so I must ensure that if I put this number into the log equation, or the log whatever you call it, the thing must hold true, right? So x equal to 1 or negative 6, right? Okay, if I go back to the log equation, okay, so this is a log equation, the original log equation, right? Okay, so so the first is 3x squared, so everything seems okay, but look at the second term right here. So log square root 5 bracket x plus 1 bracket. Okay, so because my answer is if you notice, my answer is 1 or negative 6, right? Okay, so maybe I write here first, log square root 5 x plus 1, then put a bracket. So if I sub in positive 1 here, so x equal to 1, right? So you'll get log base square root 5, then here is 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, so everything is good. As long as your log is positive, then it's good. But what if you sub negative 6 inside? Okay, so if you sub log square root 5, then after that negative 6, right, plus 1 bracket. Okay, then you'll get log square root 5 negative 5. So if you get a log, whatever the base, the base don't need to care. Okay, when you get negative log, means that your number inside the log is negative number. Then you press your calculator, you will notice that this is an error. So your negative 6 here must be rejected. Alright, so the only answer that the question can accept is x equal to 1. Okay, so this one need to be a bit careful. Alright, so just make sure that there shouldn't be any, cannot have negative number inside log. Alright, so yeah, so this is the question 7b.